I really needed a job. Fresh off Cuba, I just arrived to the US. I, I didn't have a lot going on, and I really needed a job. And I met a current friend of mine, amazing guy by the name of Eduardo Rosello, which is the chief concierge over at the Intercontinental Miami. And he offered me my very first job in the hospitality industry, which was as a bellman on that hotel. Gen Z is a lot more mobile. Like, they do everything online. They do everything on their phones, very little PC. So from their perspective, it goes back to our conversation regarding Instagram, TikTok, those new apps that keep coming out, and we need to do a better job as hoteliers to reaching out to them through those channels. Full service hotel, a mid-scale hotel and above, you use those tools to enhance your operation and the guest experience, not to eliminate it completely. And that, right, is definitely a competitive advantage that many hotels have. Why? Because you use technology to work together with your human element to provide that extra guest experience.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Reshape Hospitality with Tech. I'm your host, Maria, and here is my co host, Kazim. In today's episode, we have an amazing guest with us, Carlos Garcia. He is a seasoned hotelier with extensive experience of working in the hospitality industry. He will be talking with us about the industry insights and factors that are going to reshape the industry. Welcome to the show, Carlos.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a true pleasure.
Tell our audience about your career background. When did you start your career? What was your first job? And the reason behind joining the hospitality industry. What did you like it about that?
My career started almost by chance because I really needed a job. Fresh off Cuba, I just arrived to the US. I didn't have a lot going on, and I really needed a job. And I met a current friend of mine, amazing guy by the name of Eduardo Rosello, which is the chief concierge over at the Intercontinental Miami. And he offered me my very first job in the hospitality industry, which was as a bellman on that hotel. And I have been forever grateful on that position. It opened my eyes and opportunities to a whole new world which I didn't know existed, which is the hospitality world. Because for me, I usually stayed in very little hotels, didn't know much about it or what happened with it. But working on the very first job it was an amazing eye-opening experience for me. And to this day, if somebody asks me, I say that was the best job I ever had as a bellman at the Intercontinental Hotel in Miami.
You started as a bellman and you working your way to the different department in different
Absolutely.
properties, right?
Yep. As
Right?
someone that is when you get the hospitality bug, when that bug bites you, there's no escaping it. I mean, you can try and you can move your way around it, but once you're in it, you're in it. It's just an amazing thing. And you try to move around. I was very blessed to have the opportunity to move very fast. I went through the multiple departments in rooms, and I made it all the way to front office manager at the same hotel. The leadership team there is amazing, and they gave me a lot of opportunities. But then after a while, I didn't know what to do anymore. I was a bit bored. And then I met an individual by the name of Danny Esteves, which managed the F&B operations there. And he said, you know what, Carlos, you're a great guy, very energetic, very, very, very great with our guests. Why don't you try going to food and beverage? Danny, why am I going to go to food and beverage? I don't want to carry trays. I don't want to do any of that. Let me tell you, was I wrong? Was I wrong? Food and beverage, it is the amazing arm of hospitality. Why? Because there's so much to it. And honestly, it's my favorite part of hospitality because I'm an F&B guy at heart. And that, he gave me my very first opportunity managing a very small restaurant on the pool. And that was it for me. I fell in love with hospitality all over again. I jumped from there to a bigger restaurant and then moved to banquets. And they gave me the option, the opportunity to manage, the F&B operation. Then I moved to the Dominican Republic, still with F&B. And then an individual called Michael Herman, one of my very favorite persons in this world, called me and said, hey, right after the Hurricane Maria affected Puerto Rico back in 2017, say, hey, why don't you come over to Puerto Rico? You'll do great here. The hurricane just passed. We have a lot of work to do. Say, absolutely. Jump on a plane, flew to Puerto Rico, fell in love with the island, had my children in Puerto Rico, and then moved back to Miami over with Sonesta after the big transition that they happened with the pandemic when they acquired a lot of hotels. We grew overnight. I was I was very fortunate to have been part of that. So that brought me back to Miami over the Miami Airport property. And then when SVC acquired this current property that I'm at right now last year, I was given the keys to the property, and here I am.
Yes, as we were talking about your career journey, so we would like to know, were there any hospitality professionals who supported you in building your career and will always be remembered? So can you share the name with us?
Of course, in hospitality, you need to have your mentors, people that you really, really look up to, and you say, wow, these individuals are who I aspire to be in hospitality at different points in your career. Because otherwise, you may be caught up in the treadmill that you're just moving forward. But what do you aspire? Who do you want to emulate? You still want to be your own person, but who are those people that inspire your career moving forward? In my case, right, it was Danny Estevez, Jack Miller, Robert Hill, Michael Herman. Those were the guys where I started working in hotels. I saw, wow, I want to be them. Great leaders, amazing people in their fields. I'm still in touch with a few of them, and I reach out to them for advice because in our world, believe it or not, you may say, oh, there's so many hotels in the world, so many chains, so many properties, so many owners, but our world is so small, so small. Everybody knows each other. Everybody knows
Mm.
who they are, one way or another. We're so connected. Like never burn your bridges, and always keep your mentors around. They will help you so much whenever you encounter those difficult decisions or difficult moments, which you will have in our career. You will have many of those. It's always great to call just for advice to see how the situation could have played differently or how can you handle it. And believe me, it always helps.
This is the lesson you have learned from your mentor, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I still call them once in a while. Say, hey, how are things going? How's the family? Everything good on your end? Where can we have a drink? Can we have a beer? Let's talk. Because it's always great to compare notes, experiences, you know, market data, knowledge about the different trends. You never lose thought of that.
Once you decided to work in the hotel industry, so what difficulties did you face and how did you handle them?
You know, the road the same way that is filled with amazing experiences, amazing people. You still have, to walk through the corporate world, right? To the corporate ladder. How do you move up from different things? And some of the challenges that I personally faced, right, was like I was very energetic, right? And I spoke very fast, even more than right now. Because, oh, this guy, right, he's speaking so fast. Believe me, I made a lot of progress. So that was definitely something that hindered my career at the very beginning. And I had great people that saw my potential and say, hey, maybe you should just bring it down a little bit to make sure that people understand what you want because it may come up as too much, right? Some people might get scared or they might say, oh, this guy is coming in too strong. You cannot really understand what he's saying. So all those aspects really helped me shape a little bit my image at the beginning and being able to pause a little bit more when I was addressing my clients, my guests, my colleagues. So that was a little hurdle that I crossed. From another experience that I have is that you have to make sure, since again, everyone knows each other in this industry, that you never burn your bridges. I have made decisions that have come back to bite me afterwards regarding colleagues that in that moment it was the right decision of either letting them go or not paying attention to the great piece of advice that afterwards 1 or 2 years from there there. So I could have done it differently, and then a certain portion of my career could have just gone faster. That's always the case. Keep in mind, we have a lot of fun in the hotel industry. You will have a lot of fun. Why? Because you're surrounded by guests, surrounded by amenities. You like to talk to people. You have a great experience. But at the end of the day, we run a hotel. We run a corporate business. We have to keep that in mind once in a while.
Now I want to talk on the hospitality trends. Like as an experienced industry expert, you must agree that changes in consumer behavior are pushing hotels to find new ways of providing services to improve guest experiences. You know what, Carlos? I read an article that mentioned a good example of this is the rise of personalized guest experiences. So, if I ask for your opinion on the key hospitality trends, do you see that are shaping the future of the hospitality in coming years and will help businesses in the hospitality sector to enhance the all over guest experiences? So, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's definitely something that it will really shape our business at some point in the very, very near future. Why? Because the integration of advanced technology and the shift towards sustainability, right, are increasing importance of personalized guest experience will really make it happen. We need data. We want data, right? So all these things to be able to bring it forward and connect it into our business will be key to be able to provide better experience for our guests. Because right now, our guests don't just expect a place to stay. They want experiences that are tailored to different preferences and values. The hotels that can leverage all that data to offer that personalized service will really, really create a competitive advantage in their market and be able to move forward with better rapport, better ROI, and better, at the end of the day, better returns for the owners or the companies that they work for. We really need to learn how to leverage that and move fast. Our industry is slow to adapt to technology, unfortunately. It just takes time because you go through many, many layers to be able to integrate it into your specific property, especially when you're talking about a multi-chain hotel or multi-property hotel. When you go to either franchisees or sole owners, they might make decisions on their place that will be done from one day to the next. But when you're talking about hotel chains, there's a lot of things to take into consideration, um, potential liabilities, employee trainings, things of that nature. But the faster we adapt, the better it is. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that we create what's best for our guests. Guest experience is the ultimate goal. Guest happy. Return guests are the easiest guests to obtain. But if you lose them, they're horrible to come back. So in our case, data will make all the difference. Being able to compile all of that, and even before the guests arrive, before you even reach to them, just to be able to know how many kids, is he married, single, what does he like, what type of bourbon, what type of beer, chocolate, what allergies do they have, even before they get to our hotel. So when they get here, they just come in, go to the room without even stopping by the front office, and then concierge will take care of that afterwards. It's just so many things, always an evolving landscape for our industry. Data will really be the key on that one.
As you said, guest experience is the ultimate goal. And as you talk about the sustainability, so do you think sustainability will be the benchmark in the hotel industry in the coming years?
Yeah, absolutely. Is right now still a key aspect of our business. We have to be rated by multiple agencies and to be able to rank one, two. There are different tiers that we go through. So right now is a key differentiator. Just as we go by and years pass, it will become an even more intrinsic in our hotel operation. We cannot just operate freely in that sense. We have to think about the planet, our guest, our city, and how do we integrate closely to that while protecting our guests. And our guests ask for it. We just don't evolve because we want to make sure that everything is well, but because our guests demand it and they need it and they want it. So therefore, we have to give them what they want.
There is one more thing I would like to ask you. Like, life is getting back to normal after COVID. More and more travelers are excited to experience the world. And based on your experience working in the hotel industry, what do you think travelers are now looking for in the hotel stay? Are they looking for unique experiences or health focused vacations? Can you share your thought on this?
Yeah, it's been shifting a lot, especially after the pandemic. The pandemic really accelerated the adoption of technology in hospitality by a mile. It just was a kickstart for our industry. Fundamentally changing how we operate and interact with our guests. Contactless check-ins, mobile keys, virtual concierge, those services became standard. Before pandemic, believe it or not, right? People can sometimes we have short-term memory in that regard. You will talk about contactless check-ins and mobile keys, and it was certain hotel chains had it. But right now, it's at the forefront of a lot of hotel chains when it's definitely there, like it exists, especially with virtual concierge and the text messaging. So the guest can just send you a text and get what you want. The QR code is always there. So that was kickstart at a massive scale by the pandemic. And of course, these technologies have not only improved our operational efficiency, but also allowed us to offer a more personalized and responsive guest experience. The ability to cater to preferences in real time has really, really redefined our standard in the hotel industry.
What common challenges do you think the hotel industry faced during COVID in terms of hotel operations?
Yeah, well, during COVID, as you know, the whole not being able to get our guests in, it was a big problem. When we were in Puerto Rico, the island shut down completely. So getting guests in, it was a whole ordeal. And we moved away from that quite a bit. In our industry, at least here in Miami or in many parts of the US, COVID is only mentioned from a revenue standpoint. We reference it back and say, hey, how much money was there? Was it not there? And here, for my specific market, which is Miami Beach, the year after the pandemic was the boom year for Miami Beach. Anyone that had a hotel made quite a bit of money just because we're one of the only areas open in the US where guests could just come in without a lot of restrictions. So that really kickstarted the market again, and it just brought in so many guests, so much revenue that we still keep to date because those guests have continued to come back to our hotel. But instead of the challenges that we faced, we all know what it was, right? Very limited inventory available. You could not, really operate your hotel profitably at many, many points during the pandemic because the amount of guests that you were allowed to take in could not even cover your bills. So it was a very rough time for us hoteliers and for the employees itself. We remember we had all those glass panel divisions, the masks, the people entering a hotel, the sensors everywhere to see what your temperature was. It was horrible.
Let's talk about the Nautilus Hotel Miami Beach by Sonesta, where you have been working as a general manager. How many rooms does it have, and what are some of the high quality amenities offered by a hotel that will attract both existing and new guests?
Of course, our wonderful hotel, as you can see right behind me, right, is located in the middle of Miami Beach, 1825 and Collins Avenue. We have 250 guest rooms. We have a marvelous pool, and we have the direct access to the beach, which is amazing here for South Beach and Miami Beach as a whole. Not many hotels have that. So we're very fortunate, very, very fortunate to be able to operate such a beautiful, beautiful property. Next year, we'll be undergoing amazing changes as we transition to the James brand. And then we'll be bringing even more amenities to our guests with enhanced facilities, better guest rooms. So we cannot wait for that to happen. But it's amazing for us. And Sonesta as a whole is going through a lot of changes. We're growing very, very rapidly. We have over 1,200 hotels now, mostly in the US and Latin America. So we're very fortunate to be able to be part of this great company and being growing so fast because, again, opportunities are always there. The more the merrier, like I always say. The more hotels you have, the more opportunities of growth, the better it is for our career and again for the market as a whole.
What factors involve guest feedback on your hotel service when they check out? Are they looking at room facility services, food, or value added services?
Well, our specific guests, right? They come in for a multitude of things. They choose us first who we are, and then the location that we have. But once they're in our hotel, they really expect more. At least the ones that come in through us and this stretch of Miami Beach and South Beach, they want a better experience. They want a lifestyle experience. They want to feel comfortable in the place that they are. They want to have a drink by the pool. They want to have beach service to be able to just enjoy a mojito or a pina colada right under the sun, right over here in beautiful South Beach. So they're looking for a bit more, not just come in, go to your room, and go shopping and then come back, right? They want to have that additional experience. Like, what else can you offer me? Because hotels are always around, they're everyone there, and we all compete for pricing. We have different tools that we use for data, so we're always very competitive in that sense. That all of us do the same thing. However, what sets us apart? What more can we offer our guests that experience goes a bit better? Can they take a picture in an amazing place that they can post online in Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, right? That they can show their friends the great experience that they're having and the great time that they're experiencing when they're visiting Miami or Miami Beach or a hotel. It's like, what more can we offer? And we really specialize in that. Our lobby bar is an amazing, it's an Art Deco style. Our hotel's designed by Maurice Lapidus. So we try to go around each guest experience for the minute they check in to when they go to the bar, when they go to the restaurant, when they go to the pool, when they go to the beach. What can we offer in each of those instances that can set us apart from our concept? Again, a drink, you can have it anywhere. But a drink with a great background, with a great conversation with your bartender, a really knowledgeable experience about the area, can definitely set any hotel apart. And we really specialize on that. That training that puts us aside and really puts our colleagues forward really makes a difference for us.
As you talk about the Instagram and TikTok, so do you think, Carlos, social media plays an important role in making the reservations?
It's massive. It's huge, especially with the different generations that pass through our hotel and are coming over now to market, and we are especially catering to them. A few years ago, it was all about what can we do for the boomer generation, what can we do for the millennials. Now we're talking about Gen Z and even Gen A, right? It's just crazy how fast things move forward. So we have to adapt with each single cycle because everyone is different. They all want different things, and we still have to cater to a multi-generational aspect because we get guests from all walks of life. So we have to see, okay, what trends are happening now? How can we get it to this guest while still making it happen for these other guests, well, so they feel great? So at the end of the day, families come and you have one from every single one of them. So definitely social media is a massive aspect that's is again it's always been there, but it's blown up lately. It's all over the place. We work with different influencers. We work with definitely some social media aspects of it to boost our online presence and always be at the forefront of our guest experience. You do want to make sure because people before they come to a hotel, they go online. And it used to be where it was only TripAdvisor, but now it's more things. You have Google reviews, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, where they see the reviews that they see the videos that other people have placed, the stories. There's so much out there that you have to make sure that you can keep up with all of it to be able to provide those guests that want to come here the experience that they expect.
Tell us about your role as a general manager. What are your main responsibilities and what are the key values and goals you emphasize in your leadership style when working with your teams? Would love to know about that.
When I speak with other colleagues or sometimes students and people that come to our hotel and they want to do tours and we show them around like the future hospitality, right? They always ask, hey, what's the role of a GM? And I always tell them, you know what? Just think of a magician with many hats, many hats, where you can have different costumes. One day you can be an engineer. The next day you can be a front desk agent. The following day you can be a revenue manager. The next day you can be a server. And that's pretty much right what the role of a GM is. You have to put yourself many different hats to be able to work with your guests and your colleagues and to be able to provide great leadership for those employees that work with you. So at the end of the day, people work with people they like. Otherwise, your turnover in the hotel will be insanely high. And we all know what happens with that. You have increased cost of retention to bring people in and train them and things of that nature. That's very costly. So people that stay in your hotel and employees that are happy in your hotel will treat your guests even better. That's why we focus on employee satisfaction so much. Matter of fact, the last survey we did, we were very fortunate. We scored 98% on employee engagement. We're the highest in Sonesta. And it was all thanks again, to our colleagues. So as long as you do things right, you wear many hats, you're able to provide definitely support to your team, your hotel will run itself and you will have no problems. We definitely deal with emergencies. That's why our phone is always available. There's never a day off in the life of a GM. Work-life balance is incredibly limited. So don't think of it, oh, work-life balance for a GM, forget about it. It's out the door. But you know what? Once you find something you love, you never work a day in your life. That's what I always say.
Beside work, tell us about your activities that you really enjoyed with your family and friends.
I've been very fortunate in life to have met my wife many years ago when I was still a bellman out in the Continental. So she's grown with me, right? So she definitely understands the time constrained life that comes with being a hotelier. I never had that issue that some of my colleagues might have, where the family doesn't understand why you're missing birthdays or why you're missing Christmas, why there's no New Year's, right? But then you find comfort and find happiness in being able to share that with them. So that's why some of the family members, they at least in our hotel, they come in and spend New Year's. We do the New Year's party here. They can bring the family, they can bring their kids over, so we can all be together as one family. We celebrate our guest family and our employee family. So that really makes a difference. In regards to our to friends and family, happy hours the way to go, right? Because if it's a 5, 6, 7, say, hey, we're meeting somewhere, let's go for happy hour, let's try to connect. And some weekends here and there, where what's everyone doing? Especially, I have a very large family. My family is massive, so we try to at least do something in everyone's family every month, right? So next month is my turn to host my family. So we're all meeting in my house. Everybody knows. I usually work on the weekends. Sometimes I don't, depending on how busy the hotel is. So we schedule that through. And again, we've done this for many, many, many years. Everyone's happy. There's no problems, right? They just know it's just a business like no other. It's my job like anybody else, anyone else. And if your friends and your family know that you're happy doing the things that you like, they will understand. But again, if you choose this career as something else, that the thing that you want to do, then and you yourself are miserable, then your family will be miserable. It's just you transmit that yourself. So coming to the industry is an amazing one, but make sure this is what you want to do. Remember, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
So, Carlos, first of all, I would like to ask that you talked about pandemic and how it, how hospitality suffered due to it, and how it sort of pushed forward the technology implementation in the hospitality industry. So, today, how important it is for hotels to have these new technologies for providing a great guest experience.
Yeah, technology is incredibly important for us, right? And I mentioned this before as well. It's just because there's so much out there, and it goes both ways. There's a slew of programs out there to help us right now cater to our guests, but there's so many of them that you don't know exactly which one to choose, right? And that might take time. And that's why our industry is a bit slow to adapt to a lot of these things. But we need technology in the hotels. We need technology in our world, just to be able to just provide better and cater experience for our guests. Data is crucial for our business. We need to know who's coming, what do they want, how to make them happy, and how to make them return. And unfortunately for us, right, because data is expensive as well, right? All of that carries a cost in our P&L. We need it. We have to factor it in to be able to obtain all this information to provide a better service to our guests. Personalized experience will trump any experience at all.
You have talked about personalized experience and data. So, how much do you think artificial intelligence and big data plays the vital role in all of this?
Yeah, look, we need different programs to run different systems. We need a program to calculate ROI. We need a program for RevPAR. We see a program to see how we are competing against our comp set. We have another one, right, to see how food and beverage and what's the cost per occupied room, what's the cost of our average check. We have programs for all of that, so that's not going to change. We just need to be able to create a more integrated technology piece that can bring it all together, because we come through so many programs and so many things that sometimes it can get overwhelming. And the thing is, like, from my personal perspective, I don't think it's enough. Like, there's a lot more things that we would like to know as hoteliers that we don't have access to, because those integrations haven't happened yet. Example, how can we get the preferences that our guests have on their Facebook or Instagram profile for us to know without having to go in there and search it? So when they get here, that we already know their family and what they have, if they had a beer last time they stayed somewhere else, and something to take that picture of and really integrate the data in. And I know there's a lot of invasion of privacy on those things, but we've always been very careful, and hotels as a whole, from a liability perspective, have been very careful. So I'm sure something like that is going to come up down the line that can give our hotels that data for us to provide more personalized service for our guests. When they get to the room, they already have their favorite beer waiting for them. Their minibar is stocked with the snacks the kids like. So we don't have to run over the place and really try to figure it out. It's already given to us before the guests arrive. And that will make a huge difference for us and our business.
You have talked about different generations coming through the hotel. You have talked about boomers, and millennials, and now Gen Z. So typically Gen Z is much more tech savvy as compared to the boomers. So how difficult does it make for the hotel staff to cater all of these segments?
Well, honestly, Gen Z is a lot more mobile. Like they do everything online. They do everything on their phones, very little PC. So from their perspective, it goes back to our conversation regarding Instagram, TikTok, those new apps that keep coming out, and we need to do a better job as hoteliers to reaching out to them through those channels, so they know who we are. We know what to expect because we see them. Like we do our own analysis. We go online. We do PowerPoint presentations. We get all this information together for us to give them that extra experience, that mobile experience, that I'm here, I'm out there experience, because they want to be seen. They want their friends to see them. They want their families to see them. So we need to do a better job providing those little moments, those spaces for them to broadcast themselves, right? And not everyone is like that, right? I'm sure you have different pockets of the generations and that don't prefer those things, but that's why we have to cater to everyone. And the better job we do at identifying those scenarios and those spaces, the more successful we will be. We have integrated different areas of the hotel where you can really broadcast different pictures, different scenarios that really will make it better and more visible for them when they post things online. And we have been very successful with that. But again, it is not enough. You have to be always evolving. What works today doesn't work in a month or two from now because it becomes old. Many people have done it, many people have seen it. So our ability to adapt and adapt fast, right, is what makes the difference in our world. In our world.
We are seeing all of these new technologies coming into the hospitality industry. But as a general manager, how difficult do you think it is for a hotel to implement all these new technologies and then train their staff to use them to achieve their full potential?
It's expensive, honestly, because technology, of course, is not free. People might think it's free. Oh, how do they know these things? But in the back end, we pay for it. It's expensive. And it is expensive from a training standpoint as well, because labor is expensive. Is the biggest expense in any hotel, right? Labor. So training our colleagues is an investment that we do on our team and our hotel to be able to drive better customer satisfaction. So yes, it is very difficult, first from an implementation standpoint, getting it approved, getting it signed, getting the capex the capex capital for it to be able to bring that technology over, and then getting our staff trained. That can take anywhere from a few days to a month, depending on what type of program we're doing. And it's not just the training, because you can train, you can do the presentations, you can do all of that, but getting your team to do that consistently, it is the biggest hurdle that you have on any training program. And then what you do now, you have to reinforce it again 3 months from now or 6 months from now, because first you may have new colleagues due to overhead retention, or they may forget about it because they're not in it all the time. So from that perspective, yes, it's difficult. Whoever tells you otherwise, they never run a hotel before, just because you manage hundreds of employees in any operation. And all of them, right, have to get with the program, have to get involved, and you have to make them understand why it's so important. Because you cannot just say, hey, we're doing this, and get it done. That's not how it works, at least not on a successful operation, because you need your team's buy-in. You need them to see your vision and why that is important to you and the hotel to be able to implement it successfully. So yes, it's difficult, but definitely not impossible. Not impossible, and it needs to happen across any hotel and across any new technology that we bring in.
As you have discussed, the technology is expensive and it is very difficult to implement in a hotel. So, what about the new hotels, the hotels that are being constructed? How can they implement those technologies today so they can cater to not only present but for the future technology as well?
They're definitely on a competitive advantage when it comes to that. Why? Because you're implementing something from the ground up. The employees that you hire, they already come with that embedded on the property. So all you have to do, right, is teach them from scratch why that is being implemented and how is that good for the property and for them to be able to give the next step on the on the guest satisfaction. So yes, new hotels definitely have an advantage on that because when you build, you can take those costs as part of the new hotel build or new hotel change. There's a lot of new things happening out there right now, and new hotels are coming to life. It's not just Marriott, IHG, Sonesta. There's a lot of little independent brands that are just popping up, and they definitely have a competitive advantage on the new things that might be able to move forward. But again, new build always better because you can cost it on the build of the property.
Hospitality has always been about people, and the experience and the interaction with people. So do you think that all of these new technologies like, remote check-in and contactless technologies, is it going to change the people element of the hospitality industry?
For some hotels, it would, and you already see it with a couple of hotel brands that have taken the people element out of their experience altogether because there's always a traveler for that. But when you're talking about a full service hotel, a mid-scale hotel and above, you use those tools to enhance your operation and the guest experience, not to eliminate it completely. And that, right, is definitely a competitive advantage that many hotels have. Why? Because you use technology to work together with your human element to provide that extra guest experience. That's our ultimate goal, right? Having happy guests. There's nothing else. Well, we may have a great P&L, our GOP may look flawless and be amazing, but if your guests are not happy, you're not going to have a good year the following year. You're going to have a great year that one time, and it's not going to come back ever again because your guests are not happy and they're not going to return. So having happy guests and using technology to your advantage and to really connect the human emotion will be amazing for anybody. We currently do it at our own scale, and many hotels do it right now at their scale and what they're able to do. As technology progresses and we get better, more efficient tools to provide a better guest experience, it will only improve with time. But being able to connect our concierge, or for those hotels that don't have a concierge, the front office, the front desk, and to connect the guests before they arrive. Because at the end of the day, right, the more information you have on your coming guests, the better it is. You can just welcome them exactly as they want to be. Some guests, and you will know in advance, don't like to talk to the front desk agent. They just want to go up to the rooms and just have whatever they like waiting for them there. Is it the blinds down? Is it the windows open? Is the TV on? Is the TV off? Their favorite channel? Those things, right? You need the human component to be able to make them happen, and again provide a competitive advantage towards your concept.
You have summed up all the essence of the hospitality into words: happy guest.
Happy guest, happy guest. Whatever tells you otherwise, they're thinking about something else. We're all in this business to make our guests happy. Everything else is a side product.
So, Carlos, as you said, happy guest is all about. So, I would like to know about your own experience as a hotel guest while choosing a hotel for your stay. How was your best experience as a guest? Either you go for an excellent location or affordable pricing or friendly services.
I am the easiest guest you will ever find in a hotel, right? Just because I'm a hotelier myself, right? I don't like to bother anybody. I know exactly what I want. When I get there, I just, but again, like we were talking about before about different generations, our tastes change. A few years ago, I was just me and my wife, and even before that was just me, right? I would just go and I really want to have a drink by the pool, and that was my thing. I would look for a hotel that had a great pool bar and can offer me a great pool experience. And then before, when I met my wife, I shifted towards experiences, what things that we could do together, things that we cannot find home, that really connected us better and we can share moments. Right now, we have two kids. So it's all about family. What makes the kids happy so my wife and I can be happy, right? Because if the children are not happy, we're not going to have a great time. So now we look for hotels that may offer a child service, right? Or might offer a nanny at night so we can have some dinner. Or they can take care of them during the day that we can have lunch. So it all shifted. We have all generational shifts. But again, just like I look for hotels that have a child area or a child service, that same hotel tries to also cater to that previous Carlos that wanted a nice drink by the pool. So as a business, we have to take all of that into consideration, right? So my perfect experience right now is going into our hotel and I can just take my children to an area where they will be happy so my wife and I can be happy, right? That's just how it
Yeah, right.
is.
Happy wife, happy
Happy
life.
life, yes, absolutely.
Your career journey in hospitality is truly motivating, and you value innovation and believe in teamwork. Could you share some advice for hotel managers, those who are looking to improve their hotel operations? So, what advice would you suggest there?
Look, I was in an HR meeting the other day with a few of the colleagues of the area. The HRDs were meeting, and we're just talking, right, sharing ideas, sharing best practices, things of that nature. And I say something that sometimes we forget. We are in the people business, right? It's either guests or colleagues, right, that work with us. So sometimes, we're very, very focused on making our guests happy that we forget to make our employees happy, right? And they're the ones that are going to make your guests happy. So you need to ensure that your employees are very, very happy as well. Otherwise, your guests are not going to be happy. You're going to have a lot of turnover. You're going to have a lot of problems. So please remember, we're in the people business, making guests happy, but you need your employees to be happy as well. Otherwise, again, you're not going to run a successful operation. You need your employees' input. And they are going to be the ones that give you the best ideas. Just be, just, have the heart and have your ears and mind open to those ideas. Don't just close off. Make sure you listen to them. At the end of the day, they're your team. They want you to succeed.
I'm sure your advice will help them. Well, we thank you again, Carlos, for the time you gave us today. It was an amazing discussion. We had such a valuable talk to you, and
It
I'm
was a pleasure. It was a
sure,
pleasure.
and I'm sure all your expert insights will help our audience. Thank you very much once again.
No, thank you guys again. Keep doing your thing. You guys are doing great. Please keep growing the channel. We need more hospitality influencers like yourself that really put us right out there, right? And talk about hotel business and what is there. People like to know. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job at it. So thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed watching today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interviews with industry leaders. Follow us on our social media at Advanced Hospitality Technologies. See you with another guest. Till then, take care and have a great day.